You ever wonder what type of customers Verizon is looking for? What type of customers they're actually trying to attract? Well, we just learned a lot from the CEO of the Verizon Consumer Group, Sampath. He told us a lot at this Moffett-Nathanson Media, Internet, and Communications Conference. So I listened to the whole 40-minute conversation between these two guys, and I think I got a good grasp on what exactly is going on in the industry and Verizon and how they see their place in it. So the first thing I want to mention is based on the disclosures from Sampath. The industry is expecting somewhere between 8 to 8.5 million customers being for the taken in 2025. All right, that number used to be 9 to 9.2 million, which means that there is a smaller group of customers that are now available to companies like T-Mobile, Verizon, AT&T, and Cable, and others, right? So that little reduction is kind of meaningful. 50% of those customers that are becoming postpaid customers, right? They're moving from prepaid. And I think 1 to 1.5 million are business customers. 3 to 3.5 million are consumer, which means 3.0 to 3.5 million customers are moving from prepaid to postpaid. Now, this is an important thing. Prepaid to postpaid movement is going to be dropping over time, right? And that tells me that customers are starting to like prepaid. Not to say that people are moving from postpaid to prepaid. That might be the case in some segments, but I don't think that's going to be the situation holistically. I don't think that's going to be a trend, but I do think the number of people going from pre to post is going to slow. Verizon's not really involved, though, in the whole prepaid to postpaid movement. I mean, that's what Verizon even told us and mentioned. And specifically towards immigration, that's going to impact more the lower end prepaid customer, right? It's not really going to impact Verizon because they don't have a prepaid to postpaid move either, right? It's not really what they focus on. Verizon's credit rating, average credit rating for their customers, so we're talking about those that get a credit check, have an SS number. FICO scores are average of like 720, right? It's a very affluent customer, typically viewed as what they call high quality customers within the industry. You know, the Verizon actually is very, very aggressive in prepaid, but they're looking at the premium prepaid customer, kind of the high-end premium customer, which they view very similarly to the low-end postpaid customer. They really don't see that much of a difference. So something that we're noticing and something Verizon spoke to is people are prioritizing connectivity. The consumer is resilient, and Verizon doesn't have any concerns, and this is probably explaining why they feel comfortable with the price ups. It's why you see them raising prices on legacy plans. And then if the customer is not happy about raising of the rates on legacy plans, they're going to catch them with my plan and find ways to actually help them save money. Verizon actually doesn't mind if a consumer moves down and spends less on their network access. They anticipate being able to add perks and other things later. And so they're basically trying to force people out of legacy plans, get them onto my plan where they can, you know, potentially be at the table for those perks and add-ons where they can make higher amounts of money. The margins are better on perks than they are on service, apparently. And then kind of to wrap things up, speaking on cable, Sampath said they play in consumer segments that we don't do well in. They're basically using cable to get some kind of revenue out of customers that were priced out from Verizon. That's what this boils down to. This is exactly what T-Mobile says about their MVNO deals. In my opinion, I think Sampath kind of copy and pasted that from T-Mobile. You know, he said that we lose the least out of everyone when it comes to cable. So to me, this tells me Verizon sees more customers, you know, playing ball with Verizon where cable plays, and AT&T and T-Mobile actually lose more. And then, of course, this is in areas, you know, where Verizon doesn't have FiOS or fixed wireless access. That's typically where, you know, they don't really have an option